A deal has been agreed and it will see one of Liverpool's mainstays leave the club in the coming days. This one could split the fan base. Let's break this down.
There is so much to discuss in today's video, so be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Liverpool content.
Liverpool have reportedly reached a verbal agreement with Inter Milan over a deal for Curtis Jones, with the Liverpool Academy graduate now seemingly on the verge of leaving Anfield after 16 years at the club. The midfielder has been given permission to travel for a medical with Inter, signalling that this transfer is now moving rapidly towards completion. A deal worth around £30 million is reportedly being finalised, with personal terms already provisionally agreed. For Jones, this would bring the curtain down on a remarkable journey with his boyhood club. However, after spending 9 seasons around the first team, questions had increasingly emerged over whether he could secure a regular starting role under Andoni Iraola. The timing of his departure is particularly significant. Jones was present at the AXA training centre on Wednesday, but his absence from Liverpool's last 2 friendlies against Monaco and Como only strengthened the belief that his future was away from Merseyside. With Dominik Szoboszlai and Ryan Gravenberch expected to form Iraola's preferred midfield partnership, while Florian Wirtz operates further forward, Jones's path to regular first-team football was becoming increasingly difficult, but Liverpool appear to have already made a decision on how they will respond to his departure. And this is where things get particularly interesting. Rather than immediately replacing Jones in the transfer market, Liverpool are reportedly prepared to put their faith in 18-year-old Trey Nyoni, who has impressed throughout pre-season and could now be handed a much bigger role. Alexis Mac Allister is also stepping up his fitness after his late return to pre-season, while Wataru Endo remains available as an experienced squad option. James McConnell's proposed loan move has also been put on hold until the end of the window. That means Liverpool could potentially allow Jones to leave without bringing in a direct replacement, instead trusting the young players already within the squad. Of course, there is still time for that plan to change. Liverpool have previously been linked with midfielders including Adam Wharton and Lamine Camara, but neither move has developed into anything concrete. And with the transfer window entering its crucial final stages, a surprise could still emerge. However, the current priority appears to be elsewhere, with Liverpool focusing their attention on strengthening the attack, and Bradley Barcola remains their #1 target. So, after 16 years at Liverpool, Curtis Jones now looks set for a new chapter in Italy, with a £30 million deal taking him to Inter Milan. The big question now is whether Liverpool's decision not to replace him directly will prove to be a masterstroke or a major gamble as the new season approaches. It certainly makes this a fascinating situation for Liverpool because while Curtis Jones's exit now looks increasingly imminent, the club's decision not to immediately replace him could have major consequences. With the deal to Inter Milan reportedly close to completion, all eyes will now be on Trey Nyoni and whether he can step up when called upon. At the same time, Liverpool's continued pursuit of Bradley Barcola suggests their priorities are firmly focused on strengthening the attack. The next few days could therefore be crucial because if Jones officially completes his move, Liverpool will have to trust their current options, unless a late twist in the transfer window changes everything. In other news,
there has been a major and rather unexpected twist in the ongoing Jeff Bezos Liverpool takeover story. And the latest revelation could be far more significant than initially thought. When news first broke of 1892 Holdings' investment in Liverpool, the understanding was that the consortium, led by former QPR chairman Amit Bhatia and backed by Jeff Bezos, had purchased around 30% of the club for approximately £1.65 billion. But that figure now appears to have been significantly underestimated. New reports have revealed that 1892 Holdings actually owns 38% of Liverpool, meaning the consortium paid more than £2 billion to acquire its stake from Fenway Sports Group. And that extra 8% could be hugely important when you consider what has been agreed for the future. Liverpool continues to be valued at around £5.5 billion, while 1892 Holdings reportedly has an option to increase its investment and move towards a majority shareholding within the next 12 months. FSG has made it clear that it is not committed to that agreement, so a complete takeover is certainly not guaranteed. However, the fact that such a substantial portion of the club has already been sold inevitably raises questions about where Liverpool's ownership is ultimately heading. Because this is no longer simply a consortium buying a relatively small minority stake. At 38%, Bezos and his fellow investors now have a huge financial interest in Liverpool, and Amit Bhatia is set to become the club's new vice chairman. Bezos will also have representation on the expanded board through Brian Baum. Perhaps even more interestingly, reports suggest the size of the stake was considerably larger than what sources close to the deal had originally indicated. That has already prompted questions over why FSG was not more transparent about the true scale of the transaction. Liverpool supporter group Spirit of Shankly has even contacted the independent football regulator over the deal, which remains subject to approval and due diligence. So while FSG remains in control for now, the landscape at Anfield has undeniably changed. And with more than £2 billion already paid, a 38% stake secured, Bezos now represented at board level, and an option potentially allowing the consortium to pursue majority ownership, this could be the beginning of something much bigger. The question Liverpool supporters will now be asking is simple. Was this really just an investment? Or is Jeff Bezos slowly positioning himself to take control of Liverpool Football Club? If that second possibility becomes reality, the £2 billion deal we've just witnessed could eventually be remembered as the moment the road towards a full Liverpool takeover truly began. For now, FSG remain in control, and there is no guarantee that Jeff Bezos and 1892 Holdings will ultimately take majority ownership. But with 38% of Liverpool already in their hands, more than £2 billion invested, and an option to potentially increase that stake, the situation is certainly one to watch. What initially looked like a straightforward minority investment now appears to have much bigger implications for Liverpool's future. And if Bezos does eventually make his move for majority control, this £2 billion investment could prove to have been just the beginning.